All right, buongiorno, buenos dias, guten morgen, and kalimera, everyone. My name is Simone, and I'm from Europe. So yeah, what I love about Europe is the diversity of the continent. For example, the cultural heritage that we have in Europe. You think about the Renaissance art in Florence. You think about the Moorish palaces in Andalusia. You think about castles and palaces and synagogues and churches and theaters and art galleries and museums. Even when you think about the landscape, it's super diverse and also just spectacular. If you think about the mountains or the Scottish Highlands and the lochs, or the fjords in Norway, or you can even think about the waterfalls and volcanoes in Iceland, or when you go to the vineyards in Burgundy or Tuscany, which is all about rolling green hills and the medieval towns. Traveling to Europe is also a sort of a culinary adventure. So if you love food, who doesn't want to take and maybe a pizza in Naples, or try souvlaki in Santorini, or maybe a paella in southern Spain? Europe offers such a diversity in anything that you want to try. I think even a lifetime wouldn't be enough to explore it. One of our goals is to try and encourage our clients not to be tourists, but travelers. And we do that, first of all, by traveling in small groups. When it comes to travel with small groups, you have more options to visit family-run businesses, or maybe go to the local museum, or try more local experiences. For example, it could be a cooking class. An example could be our Mezcladis class in Barcelona, which is a cooking class run by locals and migrants. Gadventures really gives you a chance to live Europe as if you were European, while supporting local communities, which I think is wonderful. Because when you think about it, Europe is a relatively small continent, but the countries are very, very close to each other. And so it's so easy to go from one country to another, even without showing your passport. So we have tours that might go to different countries, maybe seeing the highlights of 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different countries. We also have tours that go more in the depth of one region. So a good example of this are our local living tours, which I feel is a very unique product. The way these tours work, you basically unpack only once and you stay in a centrally located place. It could be maybe a farmhouse in Tuscany, or it could be an agriturismo in Amalfi or in Croatia. And that's really an opportunity for you to discover more the way local people live, to kind of become part of a bigger family in a way. And so at the end of the trip, you will really feel like a local. What surprises most people is people themselves. I think, they are those local interactions where you kind of really break those stereotypes, right? I think there are lots of people that think that, well, okay, the British are the most reserved, and the French people are the rudest, and the Italians are the most attractive, which I kind of agree with that. But sometimes, these are just stereotypes, right? You really need to leave the place to then really make your own idea of what the place means to you. We try to support local businesses as well. We encourage our travelers to go and to explore more family-run businesses. If you need to have a meal or an experience or even a coffee. In Europe, we use some local transportation as well. That's not only because local transportation is obviously very well developed and very efficient in Europe, but it's also because, traveling in local transportation sometimes gives you that feeling of traveling like a local. And we believe that is something that can add also onto the experience. One of the best parts of our Gadventures tours in Europe is to have an insightful CEO that is able to give you, a perspective around the region. There are millions of people traveling to Europe every year. So it's very easy to fall into tourist traps in Europe. But your CEOs is always there to support you also in that. So they will help you to find the most authentic place, maybe to have your meal or to have the best possible experience, so that at the end of the trip, you really live Europe as a European. Bring a reusable water bottle. Water is safe to drink almost everywhere in Europe. So if you bring a water bottle, you will help the environment. If you find yourself in Italy, I wouldn't recommend ordering pineapple on pizza. So unless you want to be shouted at in Italian by a waiter, or maybe make him have a heart attack, don't order pineapple on pizza. Yeah, the reasons to travel to Europe again are endless, right? Whether that's culture or natural beauty, the cuisine, or the local people. I think Europe again is so diverse that anyone can find a way to enjoy it.